Good morning, guys. I am coming to you this morning bright and early. This is totally spur of the moment. Otherwise, I would have planned a Facebook Live, but sometimes these more spontaneous videos are just a little more, they're just a little easier for me. Seeing how I wake up and how I'm feeling in my body and what's going on in my house this early, which is nothing because everybody's sleeping. So whenever you're watching this is perfectly fine. We're just going to move a little bit. Tonight is the full moon, which is super exciting. Those of you that practice with me regularly know that I love pulling and working with the energy of the moon. So full moons are all about releasing and letting go of all the things that are no longer serving you. So maybe you take time to do a little ritual kind of similar to what we did with at the new moon. You can go back and watch that video if you didn't see it. I like to take time to really sit and be present with myself and notice the things that I might be holding on to that I don't need to hold on to any longer. We all have old patterns, old limiting beliefs, old stuck energy, old emotion that it's not serving us to hold on to it. And so this is a perfect time around the full moon to let that go. So today we're going to be working with our sacral chakra, and that is the chakra that governs our thoughts and emotions. It's located in this hip region. So even for those of you that are not into the whole energetic side of yoga, many of you are working at home and sitting in really uncomfortable chairs, and I hear a lot of people complaining about their hips right now. So this is just going to be a little movement to help bring release and comfort to that hip area. So with that being said, we're going to begin in a child's pose. So come onto your knees. Oh, for this practice, you'll want a blanket, most likely, and a block, whatever you're using for a block. So if you could grab those before we get started, if you want to hit pause, then go ahead and grab them and then meet us back. And so we'll come to a child's pose. I have my knees resting on my blanket just so that it's there once we start moving. You don't have to if that's not comfortable for you, but come into a child's pose. Your knees can be together, your hips are right back towards your heels, and you'll go ahead and just reach your arms out in front of you. Your forehead can come down to your mat. Maybe it doesn't come all the way down and you want to grab whatever you're using for a block and just rest your forehead down on your block. And we're just going to settle in. And I'm going to stay lifted because I want my voice to project. And if I'm down in a child's pose, you may not be able to hear me. So once you settle into your child's pose, your knees can be together or they can be separated with your hips releasing back. Completely your choice. Find a little movement, a little wiggles, a little rock side to side of the hips so you can really settle in here. And then let yourself just begin to connect with your breath and settle in, becoming more present with the breath. Just noticing if you're holding on to any tension, noticing if you're feeling tightness in your hips. Continue to follow the breath. Each inhale and each exhale, letting yourself become more and more in tune with what is going on in your body. You can take a scan of your body if you'd like and just notice if you're holding on to the tension, and then use that breath to release it and let it go with the exhale, softening. So on your inhale, you're creating space, you're filling up, you're pulling in beautiful fresh energy, fresh prana. And then on the exhale, you're letting go. Letting go of all the tightness, the tension, the stress, the worry, any thoughts of yesterday, any things on your to-do list, letting it go, being right here, right now, in this moment for yourself fully and completely, giving yourself this gift, this time on your mat, showing yourself love, showing your body gratitude for all that it does for you. And as you settle in, I'd like to share some words from Melody Beattie, Journey to the Heart. Be present for yourself. Learn to be present for yourself, fully present in a way that's new and delightful. Be present for your thoughts and emotions. Be present for the gentle way in which your heart and body lead you on. Learn to be fully present for each step of your growth, each step of your journey. Value yourself, who you are, what you think and feel, and how you grow. For many years you neglected yourself. It was as though you were unconscious of who you were, how you felt, what you believed. You believed that kept you safe, protected you from feelings you didn't want to feel. You believed it was how you should live. Now you're learning another way. Survival is no longer enough. It does not meet the needs of your heart and your soul. Now you want to live fully and joyfully. To do that, you must be present for yourself. Be fully present for others too. Be present for their spirits, their emotions, the words they have to say to you, but especially be present for their hearts. You no longer have to fear losing or neglecting yourself if you're present for others. You can do this safely now. You will not be consumed by their needs. You will not become trapped in the workings of their lives. And if you're present for yourself, you'll know how much presence to give to others. Be present for life, for the starlit skies and the chirping birds that sing to the morning sun. Be present for the earth and grass under your feet, for the feel of a snowflake in your hand. Be present for all the magic and mysteries of the universe. But most of all, be present for yourself. Then your presence for others and life will naturally follow. So breathe into those words. Maybe take a deep breath in and let it out with a sigh. Allowing yourself to settle in even more. A couple more rounds of breath. Being fully present in this moment. And then when you're ready, if you have a block under your head, just go ahead and remove it. With your arms reaching forward, giving yourself that nice deep stretch. Begin to walk your hands over to the right. Maybe that left hand rests on top of the right. And maybe you let that left hip kind of sink over to the left a little bit. So you're giving yourself a nice side body stretch through this left side. And then when you're ready, slowly walking your hands through center, bring your hands over to the left this time, maybe placing that right hand on top of the left, maybe sending that right hip over to the right slightly. Breathe into that right side of your body. Connecting to the breath in each moment. Slowly walk your hands back through center. Maybe walk them forward a little more, feeling into the shoulders and the upper back. And then when you're ready, slowly bring your hands in. We'll come up onto all fours, coming into our tabletop position. Let's flow through a few cat-cows so your wrists are below your shoulders, knees below your hips. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your head, lift your tail. You can find stillness or maybe some gentle rocks of your hips side to side if that feels good. And then on your exhale, pressing into your palms, chin comes to your chest, rounding through your spine, belly button pulls in. And now flow with your breath here. Deep inhale as you drop the belly, lifting through your heart. Exhale, press the earth away, round through your spine. A few more times at your own pace, connecting with your breath in each moment, each movement. Long, slow inhales. Full and complete exhales, emptying. Last one. Coming back to a neutral spine, begin to take some little circles with your hips, little barrel rolls. Doesn't matter which direction. Again, bringing that energy into the hips, pulling the belly button in as you round forward. And then reversing direction when you're ready. Noticing and appreciating, sending love to your body. And then finding stillness when you're ready. Walk your hands forward, about a handprint, maybe a little more. And we're going to take those circles a little bigger now. So send your hips back towards your heels like you're coming into a child's pose, round to the front, almost like you're coming into a knee down plank. And again, just move with your breath at your own pace, really feeling into your body, all those sensations moving to the places that feel really good. And then reversing directions when you're ready. Coming back to stillness, begin to shift your weight forward. So we're coming into that knee down plank. So your wrists are still under your shoulders and your belly button is pulling up towards your spine. Your pelvis is lifted here. So you're engaging your core, nice and strong. Take a deep breath. Hold here, feeling the strength and the power. One more inhale. Exhale, send your hips back. Come into your child's pose, reaching your fingertips forward, feeling that stretch. And we're going to find a little movement here. Inhale, come forward into that knee down plank. Either hold here if you'd like to. You can continue to pull the belly button in towards your spine to protect the low back. But maybe begin to drop your hips and your pelvis down, coming into a little back bend. And then exhale, send your hips back, come back into that child's pose. And do this a few times with the breath, inhaling, coming forward, finding what feels good and feels right in your body. Exhale, send the hips back. 2 more times with a flow of your own breath, not rushing, nice and slow and easy. If you want to pull in that Ujjayi breath, creating that restriction at the back of your throat, pulling in that sound of the ocean waves, you can do that if it feels comfortable. Once you come back into your knee down plank pose, we'll hold this for 3 breaths. On your exhale, slowly shift your hips back. This time, if you want to separate your knees, keeping your toes together, coming into a nice deep child's pose, that might feel really good. Maybe it's a little more active. Maybe you come up onto your fingertips, really reaching your arms out in front of you. Heart melting down towards your mat. ready, come back up onto all fours. You're going to bring your hands over to the right side of your mat, just slightly. Extend your left leg back behind you. Keep the toes tucked under for a moment and feel that stretch through the bottom of the foot, never ever neglecting our feet. Feeling that stretch through the back of the leg. And then give that left leg a little lift. You're going to bend through your knee and step that left foot forward to the top of your mat. And now here is where you may want to have a block if you'd like. Both hands are on the inside of that left foot as we set up for our lizard lunge. So begin to feel around in this pose. As you're feeling into the front of that right hip, you're also feeling this in the left hip. So you can stay right here, high on the palms of your hands. If you have a little more space, you might grab your block and release your forearms down to your block. Your forearms might come all the way down to your mat. So again, feel in your body, but don't force anything. Just come to the place where you're feeling that slight sensation, and then stay there. Maybe that left foot turns out at a slight angle, and that left knee might open up out to the side. Just see. That doesn't feel good. Just pull it back in, always backing away if there's any pain. You could grab one of your blocks and maybe rest your forehead down on the block. Again, just feel and notice and do what feels good and feels right for you. And we're going to hold this for 5 long, slow, deep breaths. What can you let go of? On the exhale, as we begin to really, really get a little deeper into that hip region. You may have emotions come up, you may have thoughts come up, things that you can let go of. See them being released on the exhale, letting go. If you're down on your forearms, slowly bring yourself back up onto the palms of your hands. And then from here, you're going to just shift your hips back, straightening out through that left leg. So again, your hands are on the inside of the leg, feeling a nice stretch through the back. That left leg, toes are pulling back towards you. And breathing. Slowly bend through that knee. Once again, walk your hands forward, and then using the support of your hands, you're just going to release that left foot, that left knee back behind you. Once again, coming back into your tabletop, and you can rock your hips side to side if that feels good. And then when you're ready, both hands will come over to the left this time. Extend that right foot, that right leg back behind you. Again, keeping the toes tucked under, feeling that stretch through the bottom of the foot, the back of the leg. And then when you're ready, give that right leg a little lift. Bend through your knees, step that foot forward, keeping your hands on the inside of that right foot. Begin to settle into your lizard lunge on this side. So again, you might notice one side feels different than the other. One side might be tighter than the other. That's okay, not placing any judgment on yourself ever. Appreciating, sending love and gratitude and compassion to your body for everything it does, to that energy that might feel a little tight, sending it extra love, bringing in the breath to those areas, finding the hand position that works for you on this side. Again, if you want to turn those right toes out to the side, letting that right knee open, you can. Always finding that place, that little edge, that edge of discomfort, and then pausing right there, returning to the breath. One more long, slow, deep breath here. Slowly bring yourself back up onto the palms of your hands if you have released down on your forearms. And slowly, we're going to send the hips back, walking the hands back, straightening out through that right leg, toes pulling back towards you, feeling that nice deep stretch through the back of the right leg. From here, walking your hands forward once again, using the support of your hand, you're just going to step that right leg back, bringing the knee back beside the left, and then rock your hips side to side once again. And now from here, extend your left leg back behind you once again. Give the leg a little lift. Bend your knee, pull it in towards your left elbow, and you're going to rotate your shin so that it's somewhat parallel to the front of your mat. We're setting up for our pigeon pose. So drop that left knee back down to your mat. Send that right leg back behind you, keeping the toe tucked under, staying high on the palms of your hands. So you're feeling this in your left hip. That left shin doesn't need to be completely parallel to the front of your mat. Maybe that left heel comes a little closer towards that right hip. And then pause here, either staying high on the palms of your hands. You can untuck those back toes if that feels okay, it feels better on your knee. And again, settle here. Maybe you grab a block and come down onto the forearms. Maybe your forearms come all the way down to your mat. Maybe your head releases down. Again, finding what works for you in your body. Feeling any pain, you always back away. Never ever settling into a place of pain. Finding just that little bit of tension, that little bit of sensation, where you can create space, where you can use the breath to let go. Let go of the holding. Let go of the tension. Letting go. A few more breaths here. Slowly come back up onto the palms of your hands. If you're down on your forearms, you're going to bend through that right knee. Slowly release that left knee back. And again, give your hips a little shake. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, extend the right leg back behind you. Give it a lift. Bend through the knee, pull it towards that right elbow, and then turn your shin so that it's somewhat parallel to the front of your mat, dropping the right knee down, sending that left leg back behind you, either keeping the toes tucked under for a moment so you can settle in, adjusting your hands. And maybe you stay right here in your pigeon pose. This might be perfect. And again, noticing how one side might be completely different than the other. I know that this right hip has been bothering me a little bit, so I might stay up a little higher than I did on the other side. Just feeling around, taking your time, moving to that place that feels good for you. Always seeking out those feeling good sensations. And then return to the breath. Take another long, slow, deep breath here. exhale, letting it all go. And then slowly come back up onto the palms of your hands. Bend through that left knee, sending that right knee back once again. Rock your hips, take some circles if you'd like. You can always send the hips back, come into a child's pose if you'd like. Just move in a way that feels good and feels right in your body. Always listening, always honoring whatever it is that your body needs in this moment. And then from here, we'll just remove the blanket for a moment, setting it aside. Come back into your table. So knees below the hips, hands, wrists below the shoulders, and then walk your hands forward about a handprint. Tuck your toes under, press into your palms to lift your hips and come into a downward facing dog. This is going to be our only down dog of the practice, so appreciate it. Find a little movement, maybe bending one knee and the other. What does your body need? Bending both knees, really feeling that stretch through your spine, that length. Letting your head and neck hang heavy. Finding the release there. And then when you're ready, looking up between the palms of your hands, as many steps as it takes, come up to the top of your mat, coming into your forward fold. We're going to move a little energy now, and then we'll bring it back down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend your knees, root your feet to rise up, arms reach up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, draw your hands down to your heart. We're going to do 3 more half suns. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, swan dive down into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, connect with the breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, strong legs, rise up, arms reach up. Exhale, draw your hands to your heart. 2 more of these at your own pace, connecting with the breath. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come down to your heart. One last time, your own pace, nice long, slow inhales, long, slow exhales. When you're finished, pausing with hands at your heart, maybe closing your eyes, sending appreciation to your body. And then on your next inhale, arms lift up once again. Take your left hand, wrap it around your right wrist, and begin to reach your arms over to the left, coming into our crescent moon shape. Feeling that stretch through the right side of the body, that right hip might reach out to the right just slightly, nice and grounded through your feet. Finding the gaze that works for you. Maybe playing around a little bit. On your inhale, come back through center, release, both arms reach up tall. And then taking your right hand, wrapping it around the left wrist, reaching your arms over to the right, taking that side body stretch in the other direction. On your inhale, slowly release, both arms reach up tall. On your exhale, draw your hands down to your heart. From here, bring your feet as wide as your mat, toes pointing out at a slight angle. Take an inhale, lift the arms high. On your exhale, draw your hands down to your heart. Once again, begin to bend through your knees as we come into a squat. So your elbows might stay right here on your knees. If you have a little more space in your hips might come all the way down with your elbows pressing on the insides of your knees. So again, find what works and feels good in your body. We're going to take 3 breaths. One more inhale. And then on your exhale, bring one hand in front of you, one hand behind you, and slowly release your hips all the way down. Bringing your knees together, you might give yourself a nice little hug, maybe releasing your forehead down to your knees. And then from here, lifting up tall through your spine, keeping your knees bent. We'll challenge our core a little bit as we always do at this point. If you want to skip this, then keep your hands either resting on the backs of your thighs or the fronts of your knees. If you want that core challenge, bring your arms out in front of you. On the inhale, lift up nice and tall. On your exhale, slowly begin to lower your spine all the way down to your mat. Taking your time, pausing if you'd like. Do what works and feels good in your body. Once you get there, walking your heels back towards your hips, and then pull your knees into your chest. Coming into a nice little ball, maybe taking some gentle rocks side to side. And then once you're here, releasing the soles of your feet back down to your mat. We're going to take that right ankle and cross it over your left knee, keeping that right foot nice and flexed. Reach forward with your right hand and press that knee open so you're feeling that stretch through your hip already, and you can stay right here. Or begin to bend that left knee back towards you, maybe wrapping your hands around the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin. Coming into our reclining pigeon pose, so you're feeling this nice deep stretch through that right hip. And you can find stillness here, or you can take some gentle rocks side to side if that feels good. Maybe closing your eyes, letting yourself feel what you're feeling. Sending that loving gratitude to your body for all that it does, having compassion. Appreciating yourself for wherever you are. And then when you're ready, slowly release that left foot back down to your mat. Bring your arms out to the sides, out to a T. You're going to keep that right ankle crossed over the left knee. Slowly let your legs fall over to the left. So you're bringing the sole of that right foot down to your mat, the knees pointing up. The outside of that left leg is released down to the mat, maybe. If that doesn't feel good with the cross of the ankle, if it's too much on that right hip, you can release this and just stack that right leg on top of the left, coming into a nice gentle twist this way. And now find a gaze that works for you, either looking up towards the sky or maybe you turn your head to look over your right fingertips. Trying to make sure that both shoulders are pressing into the mat. And breathe. One more deep breath here. Exhale, let it all go. When you're ready, return your gaze back to center, back to the sky. If you had your head turned, bring your knees back through center and then uncross that right ankle. Bring your feet as wide as your mat and just let your knees sway side to side a couple of times. And then walking your feet back in, knees pointing straight up. Take that left ankle, cross it over your right knee. Stay here, reach forward with your left hand, press that knee open, and stay right here if this feels good to you, if this is enough. Otherwise, begin to draw that right knee back towards you, either holding on to the back of the thigh or the front of the shin, keeping that left foot flexed to protect your knee joint, and either find stillness or those gentle rocks. And again, maybe close down through your eyes. Allow yourself to fully feel. Keep returning to the breath. The breath keeping you in this present moment. Slowly release that right foot back down to your mat. Bring your arms out to the side, keeping that left ankle crossed over the right knee. Let your legs slowly fall over to the right, bringing the sole of that left foot down towards the floor, the knee pointing straight up. And again, this side might feel different, so if it doesn't work for you, then go ahead and uncross the ankle and just let your knees stack one on top of the other. Finding the gaze that works, either straight up to the sky or looking over your left fingertips. Return to the breath. When your mind starts to wander, maybe thinking about all the things on your to-do list, keep returning to the breath. Giving yourself this gift of full presence. Slowly return your gaze back to center. Bring your knees back through center. You can uncross that left ankle. Bring your feet as wide as your mat once again. Let your knees sway side to side a couple of times. And then when you're ready, walking your heels back towards your hips, go ahead and hug your knees into your chest one more time, giving them a nice squeeze. Keeping your hands on your knees pulling towards your chest. Slowly, let your knees fall open. We're going to take some big circles with the hands on your knees guiding them. Let your knees come forward and then pull them back towards your chest. Knees come open, round to the front, and then pull back towards center. And then do this a few times. Pausing when you come back through center, we'll take them in the opposite direction. So again, with your hands on your knees, press your knees away from you. Let them fall open, rounding back towards center as you draw them back together. A couple more times. And then releasing your feet down to your mat, slowly with the hands on the outsides of your thighs, begin to let your knees fall open. So you're bringing the soles of your feet together, coming into our reclining Baddha Konasana. Your left hand might come to your heart, your right hand to your belly. That feels good. If this is too much on your hips, you can always take any props that you have and place them under your knees for a little bit of support. Or just take your hands and rest them under the outsides of your hips for a little bit of support. Your choice. Continue to return to the breath, noticing what comes up. Any emotions come up, feel them. Allow yourself to fully appreciate that release, that letting go of that old stuck energy you might have been carrying around with you for years. Letting it all go. when you're ready, slowly bring your hands to the outsides of your knees. Guide your knees back together. Once again, hug your knees in towards your chest. Take some gentle rocks. Maybe come into a happy baby, sending your feet up towards the sky, holding on to the insides or outsides of your feet or your ankles, pulling your knees back towards your shoulders. Maybe play with straightening one leg and the other. Finding that movement, listening to your intuition, your inner guidance. What does your body need in this moment? And then hugging your knees into your chest one more time. Lift your head and shoulders, your neck up off of your mat if that's comfortable, pulling your nose towards your knees. Really wrap your arms around your knees and begin to tense your body as you take a deep inhale. So you're really flexing your feet, you're squeezing every muscle in your arms. You hug your knees towards your chest, maybe even stressing the muscles in your face. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as you deeply, deeply inhale. And then as you exhale, let everything go. Release your head, your shoulders down. Release the arms down beside you. Release your legs out in front of you. Keeping your legs nice and wide. Maybe your feet fall out towards the side. If this is comfortable, stay here. If there's any props that you'd like, as we move into our final resting pose, our Shavasana, for these next couple of minutes. Allow yourself to get those. If you want to roll a blanket under your knees, that can feel good. Or grab that blanket, maybe rest it over your torso. And then take out any last minute wiggles, any adjustments, and allow yourself to fully surrender. Letting go fully and completely. Shavasana. If resting in Shavasana a little bit longer serves you, then feel free to stay here. Otherwise, begin to bring your awareness back to the breath and back to your body. Taking out any wiggles, any slight movements with your body. Beginning to bring the energy back in, wiggling through your fingers and your toes. Maybe circling your wrists and ankles. Maybe rocking your head side to side or reaching your arms up and overhead, taking a nice deep full body stretch. And then when you're ready, hugging your knees in towards your chest, allow yourself to rock onto whichever side feels best to you, pausing in your fetus pose. This pose signifying fresh starts, rebirth, new beginnings. Breathing into that energy of a fresh start to your day. Feeling the power that comes along with that. Knowing you get to choose what you want to do with all this beautiful energy you've created here this morning. As always, my hope is that you'll use it to bring more love, more joy, more peace into your life. And then you can extend that energy to all of those you come in contact with in any way. When you're ready, using the strength of your upper body, slowly press yourself up to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed down if that feels okay. Letting your hands fall to your lap, palms face down for just a moment to fully ground yourself back in. And then when you're ready, bringing hands to heart center in prayer position, Anjali Mudra. Bowing your forehead to your fingertips, connecting head to heart, sealing in all this beautiful energy. The light in me honors and deeply bows to the light in each of you, with so much love and gratitude for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.